So, you want to make a game, not just dream about it day in, day out, but actually release something. In this video, I'm going to lay out how I would start making games from scratch without experience if I could start all over again. Let's start with the most important thing, and you may think that's stupid, but hear me out. The most important thing is discipline. You'll need to learn game dev every day, and you'll need to work on the game for months on end. Believe me, when you work on the game for a year, it stops being fun and you will need discipline to get it over the finish line. Personally, I've dreamed about creating a video game for years, but always struggled with discipline, so I always had something better to do, like playing League of Legends or watching some random TV show. And if you're anything like me and you'd like to get slightly more disciplined, then I'd recommend two things: regular training, whatever that is for you, running, gym, boulder climbing, martial arts, whatever, and reading books. I personally recommend Stoic philosophers. I know it sounds dumb, but it was very helpful for me, and maybe it will be helpful for you as well. But to be honest, any book that you read with the intention to improve yourself should be fine. Okay, next step is to learn programming. No, do not open a game engine yet, you will only get confused. We want to learn one thing at a time, and the first thing will be programming. This is the language of computers, and you absolutely need to understand it. That doesn't mean that you need to be a professional programmer, it just means that you need to understand the basics very well. Things like how to write a function, how to write a for loop, what is a class, and how to use its methods. I'll link 3 short programming exercises in the description below, and if you can do all of them without outside help, then you pass the test and you can move to the next step. But if you fail to complete them, I'm sorry, you need to learn programming. And the best way to learn programming is with today's sponsor, Brilliant.org. Brilliant helps you get smarter every day with thousands of interactive lessons in math, science, programming, and AI. Each lesson is filled with hands-on problem solving, which is proven to be 6 times more effective than watching a video tutorial. It also trains your discipline, as it helps you develop a powerful daily learning habit. Unlike most courses you'll find on YouTube, Brilliant programming courses will teach you the foundations of programming. They will teach you how to think like a programmer, which is essential for game development. The problem-solving skills you'll learn there are timeless. They will help you whichever game engine you choose and whichever programming language you choose. On top of that, with Brilliant app, you can learn wherever you go and whenever you have some free time. Try Brilliant for 30 days for free. Go to brilliant.org/DannyDeer or scan this QR code. You'll also get 20% off an annual premium plan. Now we're getting to the fun part, choosing an engine. Back in the day, it took me months to choose an engine, but nowadays I think it's fairly straightforward. If you're new to programming, choose Godot. If you're a programmer, choose Unity. If you're a masochist, choose Unreal. I personally wouldn't bother with any other game engines. All of these are good. All of these have lots of resources and tutorials online, and that's all that really matters at the end of the day. I personally use Unity and I like it, but it's important to note that this decision really doesn't matter. The skill of making games is transferable, so if you go with Godot and later want to move to Unity, it's totally doable. Game engines are a lot like programming languages. You know one of them, you know all of them. There are some minor details that you need to learn when you're jumping from one to the other, but it's really not that big of a deal as you may think. Okay, now it's time to go and watch 1-hour tutorial of your favorite game engine. In the video description, I've linked 1 tutorial for each engine that I think is worth watching. Please watch all of it and try to understand the big picture of how you're supposed to do things in this game engine. Open up the game engine and start creating your dream game. Yes, you've heard me right. Start creating your dream game. When you encounter a problem, Google it, ChatGPT it. I don't care. Do whatever it takes to just get the problem resolved. Get as far as possible until you realize that finishing my scientifically accurate dragon taming MMO is going to take like 20 years to complete. But at this point, you have 2 options. Option 1 is to lower the scope of your dream game. This means that instead of creating a dragon MMO, you may create a single-player game that focuses strictly on the dragon flying mechanism. Option 2 is to work on smaller, simpler game that's maybe a bit less exciting, but you still think that it would be fun to work on. You can always get back to the dream game after releasing this smaller one. You will start working on this, and the objective is to create a bare-bones, ugly prototype. Do not care about the graphics for now, just focus on implementing the basic mechanics of your game. For example, if you're making some kind of combat game, make your character a cube with a sword, or import some free asset from the asset store. Focus on making it playable. After finishing the prototype, your game probably doesn't feel very good. You may play it and think, damn, this game is absolute dog shit. And it's not because of the graphics, it's not because of the lackluster content, something just feels off. This, my friend, is where we introduce the juice. Go ahead and add a sound effect for everything in the game. Footsteps, weapon swings, player taking damage, and whatever else there is in your specific game. Next, you will add a small screen shake to every hit, explosion, or sudden movement. And lastly, you will learn how to use easing curves and apply them to every non-continuous movement. Easing curves are extremely important. So if you remember one thing from this video, please remember, if you need something to move from point A to point B, and you do that linearly, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel satisfying. But if you move it using an exponential curve or something similar, it feels snappy. For some reason, it just feels right. Congrats! Your game should already feel quite nice to play. Next thing we want to do is to make it look pretty. There are three main things that make a game look beautiful: consistency, lighting, post-processing. Consistency means you don't put a realistic asset next to a low poly one. Either all of your assets are realistic or all of your assets are low poly. Even if all of them are low poly though, they all need to be stylized in the same way. The easiest way to accomplish this is to use models from the same asset bundle or just models from the same artist. Another way is to take two models that are kind of similar in style and put the same shader on them to make them look more alike. And finally, the best way to achieve consistency is to choose a color palette and make everything in the game conform to it. For example, if you have a pixel art game, you may want to download a couple different assets and you see that they don't really match. If you choose a color palette though, and apply these colors to the sprites, they suddenly feel more coherent. You can find some great color palettes using this website here. For lighting, I would recommend you add a couple point lights and color them to match the atmosphere of the game. If everything's evenly lit, usually the game looks weird. So what these point lights are doing is adding a bit of interest to your environment to make it look more natural. I am not an expert in this field though, so you will need to play with it yourself. Lastly, you'll add some post-processing to your game. I recommend to add bloom. It never hurts to add some bloom in my opinion. You may want to add a slide vignette as well. And then you'll go on YouTube and search for a post-processing tutorial for your game engine and just follow that. There are people on YouTube that do post-processing much better than me, so you can learn from them, take the effects that you like, discard the effects that you don't like, and your game should be looking very good. The last thing you need to do is to release your game. I know, it's not finished yet and it's probably not very good to be honest, but who cares? You made a game and that's all that matters. Call it a version 0.1 alpha if you need to, but actually put it up on itch.io for people to play. This will teach you how to build it, this will teach you how to market it, and if you send it out to your friends, it will also teach you how to receive feedback and act on it. If you reach this step, just know that I am very proud of you and congratulations, you made your first game. Now you can iteratively improve it until it's actually good, or you can start a new one and complete the whole process again. Just this time, take the lessons you've learned previously and make the next one even better. Hope that helps. Peace.